And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves. Again, for the last 36 years, known throughout the United States and internationally as the Money Lady. And as always, I'm delighted to bring you the best of the best in the area of finance, resources, and people. Today, I have for the next hour an extraordinary woman. I had her on maybe a year ago or so, if you can remember back. But I'm having her on today because, again, she brings such a wealth of knowledge and expertise and success to her industry, and also to the whole issue, idea around women presidents, women in leadership. So without a lot of delay, I'm going to get right into the guts and the meat of the show and introduce you to my friend and just remarkable woman, Maxine Richardson, who is the president, CEO of Kwik-Kopy Printing in Cincinnati, Ohio. How are you
Good
today?
morning.
I'm so glad to see you. You always look fabulous in red.
Thank you.
Always. Let's talk about you. And for those that do not know you, and I'm amazed if they don't, because you are certainly in northern Cincinnati. You're a mover and a shaker for a long time. Give me a little background about yourself.
All right. We bought our Kwik-Kopy Printing business 23 years ago.
My goodness.
And before that, we moved 23 times all over the United States. So I've been involved in a lot of different businesses. I was a florist for 18 years and had a landscaping business and also decorating. So when we came here, I was used to dealing with the public, and we decided to start the Kwik-Kopy, and that's what we've been doing ever since.
And do you find that that background in design work and beautification, etc., did that segue very easily into the printing industry?
I used to draw all the artwork that when we bought the business because I have an art background, but I found out very quickly that we could go on the computer and do it half the time. So now my job is strictly doing sales and running the business.
Wow.
Yes.
So do you find you know, when you think about a woman in the printing industry, the printing industry always seems so masculine and so cut and dry.
Right.
What do you bring to the table as a woman?
I'm a woman. What I bring to the table is I think I have the ability to really know how to connect with people. I am not an order taker. When we have customers come in, I work with them and see what they really need, and I can sense from what they're saying what they really need and not what they're asking for, because a lot of people, they ask for something and that's not really what they want. So I think that's what I have an advantage of versus most men. It is a man's business.
I was going to say, printing is definitely.
But what is nice about it is when they say my name, they know I'm Kwik-Kopy. And because there isn't another woman that does this. So it makes it very nice as far as recognition is concerned.
So you think, in fact, your branding of Kwik-Kopy Printing, now is this a franchise? Or?
Yes, it is a franchise, and it was owned by somebody a couple years before us, and we took over. Okay. But yeah, it is a franchise, and the advantage to a franchise is they've got all the bugs worked out. When you buy a franchise, you already know what you have to do. And if you follow their pattern and you do what they tell you to do, you should be successful. You can't go off on your own because it doesn't work.
That is amazing. So they actually, in your particular franchise operation, they provided you with support?
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
Training and support.
Actually, you spent 2 months in Texas learning the printing industry. But of course, the minute you open the door, it's a little different. Okay. But we've really enjoyed doing it. It's a fun business to be in. When you create stuff that people are really excited about, it's nice, that goes out the door.
Well, another thing, another aspect of your company is that I believe you do wedding.
We do just about anything that goes on paper. Weddings we do, and weddings we do a lot of because I was in the floral business. So I do understand nervous brides. And so what we've learned to do is we give them our big books and let them take them home and discuss it at home.
Okay,
Now
so
we
they
do
don't.
custom in
Okay.
the office where we actually put pictures if they want that type of thing. But everybody wants something different, so we
I'm
do
sure they
understand that.
do.
Yeah.
So you work with the brides or their coordinators or
Or their mothers.
their mothers, okay, to
We try
get
to
these
leave the
things.
grooms to be out of the equation, but
Yeah, I would think so.
it's a fun business to be in, and like I said, because industry, I do understand what they're really looking for. Every bride wants to have the only thing that nobody else has ever had, so we do understand that.
So when you are in the world of private sector business and you look at business cards and they are, I won't name the competitor that's national that has their name printed on the back. What do you think about that as a printer?
Well, first of all, we can't compete with the price. They are not in the U.S. They're outside the country, so that's one of the reasons why they were able to be as inexpensive as they are. But it's kind of mass-produced, and our goal is to have every set of business cards to go out, which is sometimes the only thing that a business has of theirs. I recommend you don't have somebody else's name on the back. So
That is really kind of different.
right. Well, and if you hand out a card, everybody knows that. So it doesn't look as professional as if you have your own that we can. Now we work with designers, and we also design business cards. And so the main thing is the name of the company, the person who's on the card, and the fastest way for them to get a hold of you. And that could be either an email or a phone number. And those are the most important things on a business card. A lot of people like to stick too much stuff on.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and we kind of discourage having information on the back because a lot of people don't turn that over, but we still do it for people because they still want that on there. What you want to do is leave the option to be able to write something on the back if you give it to somebody.
Which you can't if
Not if
information
there's
is
other
on the
stuff.
back.
And then we also recommend different types of paper because paper is like fashion, it changes. And so the look now is the bright white look as far as business cards are concerned.
Okay, not a glossy, just a bright.
Well, we can do glossy, but then you can't write on the back.
Ah.
So you have to decide that. Now, if you have a photograph, then you do want glossy. But you got to remember that a business card is sometimes the only thing that somebody has of your business. And so you got to make sure it leaves an impression. Now, my card, I have a lot on it, but it's expected of mine. I have an ego on that because we won that award, but people always remember my card. So if you give somebody your business card and they open up their drawer, their desk, and they're looking for you, you want them to be able to see your card right away and know that it's yours.
That is so very, very true.
It's important.
You have an impressive card. I don't know what the colors. It is an impressive card, and it does stand out.
It's full
But
color.
I have to admit that a lot of startup companies want to go cheap. But you know what? And I guess it's from years of being in business. I do fill the card.
Yes, and that's a dead giveaway. You should be able to give your card to somebody and let them feel it and let them know that it's a nice card. And a lot of cards are real thick now. So that's kind of the direction that they're going. But when I get a business card that's been punched out of a sheet, I usually grab them and tell them, let me do some cards for you.
So you're talking about the business cards that you literally can buy at your office supply stores and run it through a laser,
printer.
Through your own personal printer.
Correct.
Yeah, that's really.
You can have the most inexpensive business cards for $32, for $500.
That is amazing. $32 for $500.
Right.
Of state-of-the-art cards.
Business cards, correct.
That's wonderful.
Well, and we see a lot of.
So why do they go cheap? I mean, really, that's
because they
not
don't know
expensive.
any better.
Okay, they don't know
any better. And when I do a lot of networking, when I get a card like that or I see one that doesn't look good, I usually give them my business card and say, come and see me.
Yes.
Because when you're in a crowd of people and everybody's handing out their business cards, you don't want yours to look the worst. And again, you don't leave a good impression. That might be the only thing that they have with your name on it. So you don't want to do that. If you don't spend money anywhere else, spend it on a business card.
I completely and
that's
totally.
what you gotta do.
It's just like I said, I network along with yourself, and I am so sensitive to paper feel now.
Correct.
And I can tell you when a person has gone cheap. And it really does kind of set the stage for doing business when you feel a card that feels flimsy, it looks cluttered, it hasn't been well designed. It just says,
Well, you want to look like you've been established, that you've been in business for a while. You don't want to look brand new. And you don't, we see people that have somebody else's card and they scratch out the number and they put their name on. You don't ever want to do that. Don't even hand out a card if you do that.
they scratch out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. So if your company doesn't give you the money to have a set of 500 business cards for basically $30, then you need to invest yourself so that you can present it, and because you can't do sales without a business card.
Well, even today with all of the social media and email, you still need business cards.
You do need business cards. Old school.
Okay.
As more mature people, we like that business card. I get emails all the time, but I keep those business cards, and that's how I contact people.
Well, you've been called, and I have to agree, from having watched you in motion, the queen of networking.
Well, there is a trick.
Tell me how this happened. And I can go and read your credentialing. I mean, you're the past president of the Blue Ash Montgomery Rotary. You won the Kwik-Kopy National Eagle Award for Outstanding Sales. You are Blue Ash Business Association Executive Board member. You're the Business Networking International winner of Notable Networker and Most Referrals 2006, 7, 8. Of the Year, President of Northeast Community Challenge Coalition, Taste of Blue Ash trustee for 10 years. 2012, you received the Small Business Year Award by the Sharonville Chamber. This is a lot of organizations.
Right, I'm out and about a lot.
Does it work?
Yes, it does work. Doing everything on the internet, I mean, yes, you can do stuff on the internet, but it's face to face. It's people, you want people to know who you are. And because I have a name like Maxine, everybody remembers.
This is
but
true.
I do network, and my goal whenever I network is to meet somebody new everywhere I go.
So you go into a networking environment with the agenda of, I'm going to meet somebody I don't know.
Correct, correct. And a lot of times those people are the ones that are standing in the corner by themselves because they don't know anybody.
Wow.
So, and when you go to something with a chamber event, what I see is a lot of people go and see how many business cards they can get from all the different people in the room. That's not what it's about. If you get 2 or 3 people that you've really connected with, you've talked to, they know your name, when they leave, they know who you are, that's what networking's about.
So it really is working.
Correct.
It's not net
And
play.
I can work a room pretty quick.
Listen, I have watched you and I have trailed behind you because you are a force to be reckoned with. So how long have you, I know Kwik-Kopy's been in business in the suburb of Blue Ash, Ohio for 23 years. And very successful, hardworking, good staff. What do you attribute your success to?
I think customer service. And I know a lot of people say that, but it's really one-on-one. Again, like I network. If there's a problem in our shop, people usually talk to me, or they can talk to the Lori that works for me. If there's a problem, I want somebody to be able to come to me and tell me. But I know everything about almost all my customers. I mean, I know their children.
Oh my goodness.
I know where they go to school. I mean, it's a relationship building type of business. And I've seen a lot of my competitors close up because they don't do that. Now, they haven't adjusted to the change in the technology, which is really, really important.
Really, the technology?
The technology has changed drastically. Like I said, when we started 23 years ago, I drew all the artwork, all the designs, all the logos. And then I hired a young woman that could punch a button on a computer and it was all done. You know, so it's amazing what that has changed. But also the printing industry, you know, we are Kwik-Kopy.
Right.
And I used to say we're not instant, but we really are now because we have a digital press, which means that you can come in, it's full color, and you can give me an order, and in 5 minutes I can have, you know, 50, 100 copies for you immediately. And that's what of high quality on gloss paper or on flat, and it's color. And see, the real issue is people that design stuff, they're not all designers, and they got a computer at home and they've come up with this look. And they don't know how to give that to us as a printer to print on a press. So if they give it to me, I can put it on a digital press. and I can give them what they gave me immediately. Where if we do it on a press, I have to do plates, and it has to be color separated. The design is all different, the way they give it to us to produce it. So we do both on a regular basis, but the digital has really come up to what everybody wants because everybody wants it immediately.
So you can literally get brochures. The old way was you put in your order for maybe 500 three-fold brochures.
Correct.
For your business. And you had to wait.
A couple days.
Yeah, up to a week.
Right, right.
If you had a trade show and you needed to run extras, well, you were just in trouble.
Correct.
Too bad. So with this technology, you can literally have...
It's immediate.
It's immediate.
Immediate. Right.
Same quality, high
Correct.
resolution.
Actually, in some ways, it's even better because the ink that's on that piece of equipment, it looks like toner, but it's actually powdered ink, and it puts a finish on, and it's got a nice high gloss, and it looks very professional. Now, if you don't give me something that looks good to begin with, it's not the machine's not going to fix it. Okay,
right.
We have to have something that looks halfway decent, and we try and steer people in the right direction. Like I said, people design things, and we have to tiptoe around because if somebody's designed something, they're very proud of it. But we need to make them realize that it's not going to be impressive to anybody. Now, when you do a brochure, you don't want to put a book in that brochure. You just want to put highlights because people don't read. So that's
true.
what you really have to do.
People don't read
No,
today.
they don't. They don't.
They just want to crisp it.
And they want bells and whistles.
Okay.
You know, with television, everything is instant, and they want everything wowy. And so that's what people expect. So we really push everybody in that direction. We push the full color because there's no difference in price whether you have one or two colors or if you have full color.
Really?
So, yeah.
So you can have a full color brochure.
Correct.
For the same price as
maybe two colors.
And who does black and white? Not on
Well,
brochure.
we really discourage that. So
yeah, because the wow factor is
correct.
gone. People do like color. It's like a black and white television versus looking at a Blu-ray or the I mean, you know, the technology. So my challenge to business owners, particularly new business owners, is that, and I've shared with so many people over the years, is that you don't have the luxury of making mistakes.
Correct.
You absolutely don't.
Well, it's all about reading copy. Now, we don't write copy.
Okay.
Okay, and so when somebody gives us something, we are assuming that they have given us and they have done their homework.
Okay.
Now, when we design something, that's another issue. We proof it, then we ask them to proof it, and then we proof it again.
Okay.
And you can go into any magazine, newspaper, publication, there's always mistakes somewhere. It's just really, really easy to do. And the nice thing about doing stuff digitally, if you do make a mistake, if you forgot to put something in your brochure, just, you know, I tell people do like 25 at a time for something at a short time frame, and then reevaluate it because you're always in a hurry. You know, I forgot to do this until the last minute. We all know that.
Yeah, we
that's
are.
how that works,
Notorious.
Michelle.
You all have been so patient with me because it's like, when you need just now. What?
But if you do the smaller quantities, then that gives you the option to adjust it again, and we can do it again with the new changes. So that's really the advantage of all the digital.
Okay.
Now we do from design, as we say, from concept, and then we print whichever media that we need to do. If it needs to be folded or put into a packet to be a presentation, we can do that. Or if you want to do postcards, then we go ahead and we do mailings. So most of our customers want to give it to us, have us take care of it, and they don't want to look at it again until it's taken care of.
But that's the mark of a true professional, a full-service company.
Well, that's what my job is. Your job is to do what you do.
Right.
And my job is to produce this and get it out in the mail for our customers. And people are going back to mailings now. For a while, we got away from it.
Yeah.
But now
You
people
see
are
it
going
coming back?
It's coming back.
I think people are sick of emails. I had a guest on, and do you know the average business gets 150 emails a day?
I get that
I
many
thought
a day.
it was just
No,
me.
I do
I
too.
detest my emails now. I don't unless I'm expecting it. I don't even want to
Right.
read it.
When a lot of it ends up in junk mail too, you know, in spam. So a lot of times people aren't even paying any attention. You want to get people's attention. Printing and mailings are very expensive. I mean, they're
Now, what does that mean when you say there? Well, you've got, say I want to do a campaign, Christmas campaign.
okay.
And I'd like you to lay out something for me that would promote my company. What does that look like?
Well, we have to first come out with what you're trying to say. Then, depending on what you're doing, whether or not it's a postcard, because a postcard is a lot easier to send out than something else.
But do people throw out postcards?
Well, but at least they see it.
Ah,
See if
so
it's
it's
in
about
full
getting
color.
them to see it. Okay.
They say that it's at least 5 times you need to send something to somebody before they actually pay attention to it.
5
times.
times.
Now, if you have something that's really unusual, and we try to do that, but you know, people are used to seeing things that are unusual, they will look at it. We get a
Okay.
response on a regular basis. I mean, I can do mailings all I want, but it's still expensive.
Because of
and
the
the
printing?
postage. Well,
how's the postage?
the postage is flexible. It depends on how many you're sending out. You have to send out at least 200 just let's say postcards. You have to send out at least 200 in one zip code to get a special rate. Okay, so we evaluate that on a regular basis. Do we go ahead and do the special rate and put the adhesion on the envelope or on the postcard, or do we put a regular stamp? Now, when you do the adhesion and you get the special rate, that doesn't mean it's going to go out the next day in the mail. It's usually something that you're waiting on a week.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have to decide, does this piece have to be in the mail tomorrow?
Okay.
Or can I wait a week before it goes out? If you're running a special promotion and it's on a certain date, you probably need to pay the regular postage.
Okay.
And what we do right now is we can imprint, addresses right on the envelope as we print the envelope. So it's CAS certified, it's all put together, and it goes out in that direction.
That is amazing.
So it makes it,
That is
it
absolutely.
makes it easier for our customers.
But it's so professional
That's
looking.
right. That's right. And
The
that's
thing
important.
is it sets you apart
Right.
from just your regular average business. It
Well,
really
we all
does.
have tons of competition.
Yeah.
And the thing that you need to do is come across very professional. Even if you're new in the industry, you don't want to look new. You want to look like you've been doing it a long time. And so that's who everybody you're competing against is trying the same thing. So you're trying to look a little different. A lot of times if you have a special promotion going on, we recommend doing it like an invitation.
Huh.
Because if somebody gets an invitation that looks like it's for a wedding,
Yes.
similar to that, people are more apt to open it
Yes.
than if it just comes like a letter. And I can guarantee you a letter people are not going to read.
My goodness. So
there's
you
just a
still
lot
got to
of
do a
little
little
tweaking.
bit of tweaking there. I
Correct.
never even thought about sending a mailer that looked like a wedding because we are going to open it.
Correct, because you think you just got invited to a party.
Yes,
so
you
that's
do.
really
So
why
you
people
will
are
do
doing
that.
it.
Okay.
Right.
So you know this from just your own experience. that
Correct.
You're seeing a shifting back to the day to where people mail information out.
Correct. We're seeing it a lot in insurgence of that type of thing. For a while, it was going. Everybody said, "No, printing is going away because of the internet." It isn't. It's coming back because people are tired of the internet. And even though you do a lot still with the internet, you want that personal contact. And if you're having an event, you want an RSVP from.
Which would be a requirement.
Correct.
That it would be such a requirement.
So we know the regulations as far as the postage is concerned and the post office, what they require, and that does change on a regular basis. It's not always the same. What it was last year is not now. So
Okay.
we do stay on top of that. Now we can even get you mailing list. Say if you're a decorator and you're looking for homes that are at least 350,000.
Yes.
We can get a mailing list in a certain zip code for homes that are over 350,000. So you can target
your
that market.
services, right? That is very impressive. The other thing I want to ask you about, because you are very involved with the nonprofit.
We do
sector.
a lot of nonprofits.
And I don't like to name drop, but I know you're involved with Bethesda, and you have
Correct.
Cincinnati State and others. How did you wind up getting so involved with nonprofits?
Well, those people kind of move around a lot. And so if we were used to working with one person, then they move to another.
Okay.
But they like to be taken care of, and I think that's what we have to offer. Those people are busy trying to raise funds, and they want somebody that knows what they're doing. So we try to teach them what they need to do without wasting money.
And that's important,
Right.
the wasting money, because I think a lot of times nonprofits are trying to monitor and track their money.
Correct.
Which we respect because they are nonprofits. But if you are wasting money by doing business with companies that are not giving you good end product,
Right.
then sometimes that can be troubling.
We do spend a lot of time kind of steering them off in the right direction, what works, what doesn't, because a lot of the nonprofits have young people in them that really don't understand the business industry.
Okay.
And, you know, we're trying to teach them not to waste money because the market's gotten tight for that type of thing, and everybody's competing for the same dollar.
Right.
So because we have the experience, we say, okay, we know this works, this
And
does
not work.
So, you know, you might want to think twice before doing that.
That's
and they're all on a budget.
Oh, I know they're on
They're
a
all on
budget,
a
and the
budget.
budget's going to get even tighter in the days ahead
Correct.
because they've just got things before them. But I know you're also involved with Goodwill.
Yes, I'm on the board for Goodwill.
That's a good organization.
It's a great organization, and how I got involved in that is they wanted business people to help them look at ways to get business. Goodwill has totally changed. You know, it used to be you just throw clothes in one of those little bins, and that's what you did. That's not what they are anymore, and they provide a service. They help handicapped people and a place for veterans that don't have a place to live. They also provide for that. So,
oh, I didn't even know that.
So
That's
they
wonderful.
do a whole lot in the community, and I got really involved because I was so impressed that I didn't know that. And so I've been able to connect some of those people with bigger companies so that they could come in, like with Ford, they put things together and put them on a tray, you know, parts, and then they give them back to Ford and on an assembly line. Everything that those parts that they need are on that tray. And those are those people that probably couldn't got a job otherwise. But, and I've been able to get a lot of them to come out and speak because, again, Goodwill has that reputation of the way it used to be.
Yes.
And it's not that way anymore.
My word.
It's a really good organization, and I enjoy doing things for them.
Well, bringing your perspective as a businesswoman and a successful one should only help them.
Correct.
Because
I try to tell them how it affects me, it affects a lot of other people. So you know, if you say something to me that you're going to do this, and I go, no, you don't want to do that, it's because I know that's how other people are going to respond.
Right.
So again, they're there to raise money, and they're trying very hard to do all the right things, and they're doing an excellent job. A really good job.
I am so happy to. So they are providing employment opportunities.
Correct.
They're partnering with private sector as well.
Correct.
For business and employment opportunities. And they're selling stuff that's being recycled.
Right. Well, and as they told me, it used to be they would take anything.
Yes.
But they don't do that anymore. They say if you donate something to us, it would be something that you would want to give a friend, not something that you would want to throw away.
Okay.
Okay, and when they get things like that, then they send those overseas and to another organization, and then they use it overseas.
Okay.
So, I mean, they've really changed the whole method of their madness of how they do stuff, and it's very professional. They've come a long way.
That is a wonderful,
but it's a good group of people.
That's a wonderful story. Now, how did you get involved as a board member? Was this a networking situation?
Yes, somebody gave them my name, and so I came, and there's like 8 of us that all have businesses, and we come and they say, well, we're thinking about doing this, what do you think? And I really, my goal too is to get their name out by getting them involved by speaking at different organizations.
Yes, yes.
So that, you know, people do understand, because again, I did not know. When I got asked to be on that board, I thought, Goodwill, you know, what are they doing?
What does that mean? Yeah.
But once I got there and I learned about them, they do so much in the community. If you get Montgomery sauce,
yes,
they package that together for Costco's. They put that all together, and that's one of their partners. Right, right, yeah.
That's amazing.
So they really, I mean, they're really involved in the community. And the main thing you got to remember is they're putting people to work that would not normally be able to have a job.
Yes.
So that's very important, and that's kind of tugs at my heart, because, you know, there's a lot of people that we need to help. We can't just.
Well, see, but that's why I have you on this show. I'm having you on again because your heart has always been in the right place. people, and I do believe your business success has a lot to do, just as an observer, also as a customer, and but I do believe your heart has a lot to do with the trust factor.
Right. Well, it's payback. You know, you can make money every day of the week, but if you don't do something worthwhile in your community, then, you know, what is the point? Some people, it's all about making the money. And yes, we do need to make money to stay in business, but you need to find a way to pay back. We all have to do that. We have to help one another. And that's why I got involved with the Rotary, because we do a lot of that type of thing.
Well, let's talk about the Rotary, because you were the president of the Blue Ash Montgomery Rotary.
Woman in a long time.
Yeah.
Scared those guys to death.
Oh, you ran that ship. I said, look at her. What does the Rotary do?
Well, the Rotary is a nonprofit philanthropic organization. It started out as a networking way for men to do business with one another.
Going back to when?
Oh, over 100 years ago.
Oh, my goodness gracious, Max.
They only let women in 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Right.
Somebody had to pioneer that.
Yes. And it started in Chicago.
Okay.
Now, there still are organizations in other countries that, you know, women don't have the level that men do, so they still just have men in those clubs.
Okay.
But I will tell you, the Rotary, the part that I've been involved in, a lot of women do a lot of work. And we're used to doing things in the community, so it's not hard for us to jump in and multitask.
I'm sure.
And like right now, we're getting ready to do baskets for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We just did Crayons Computers, which is a big organization in Cincinnati to help teachers give school supplies to schools that don't have the
crayons to
computers.
To computers.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And you partnered, Rotary partnered with them to...
Every quarter we have another organization that we do stuff for.
Every quarter?
Every quarter. Now, the big thing that Rotary does, which I'm just so proud of, is that we are the instrument for polio being eradicated. Bill Gates gave us, I think it was $10 million, and we had to match that. And so
he
we
gave
did.
you 10, and then you had to raise 10.
Yeah, the Rotary had to match 10. And he has since given us more, because our goal is we have to eradicate it. And there's only 3 countries now that have a few cases, but it has to be totally gone.
Okay.
So the Rotary has been the driving force in that, and so
that is
just
exciting,
really
though.
It's really
you
great.
never think of the Rotary as doing those types of things.
Correct.
I mean, a lot of people just don't know, but would you say that since it's a global organization, they have chapters all over the world, the mission of the Rotary is to serve the community?
Correct. And the world.
And the
in
world.
general. I mean, that's what we do. It's not the good old boys club anymore, and that's the impression that everybody has from years back, like the Lions and the Kiwanis. But now that they brought women in, and we're doing a whole lot of things, I mean, just like the polio, this is what we're all about. We all feel that we have businesses, and we are successful, and we need to give back. And this is a way to do that.
Okay, that is absolutely wonderful. And I know you all also do this thing every year with oranges.
We're getting ready to do that. We sell oranges.
I love the oranges.
Actually, what we do is we get all the orders. We place the order on Wednesday.
Okay.
They pick the fruit on Thursday, and it's delivered from Florida on Friday. And so Saturday,
24 hours.
Right, Saturday.
That's fresh.
That's very fresh. And on Saturday, then we pick it all up.
And
so, yeah. And the money that we raise from that goes for different things, scholarships. I'm not sure, I forget what they're doing it with it this year, but it's just, that's what we raise the funds for. I think scholarships is what we're doing it this year. So
okay.
I've been selling oranges. I haven't been paying attention to where the money's going.
Oh, no, I love those oranges. They are so sweet. And the fact that they are
oranges,
fresh.
Grapefruits.
Well, the grapefruits.
Tangerines.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all of them. And we have Pipkins, who is in Blue Ash. They order that all. This is the products that they buy for their stores. So the product is really, really fresh.
Because that's organic. Those are, that's a wonderful.
So that's a fun thing that we do. I mean, it's just, we got all these guys hauling all these boxes of fruit all over the place when people come to get it. But it is fun, and you know it's all going for a worthwhile cause.
That is very good. So if people want to participate in your organization as either donors or supporters, what do they do?
Well, right now we're having a luncheon next week for people to come and see what the Rotary is all about. And we tell them all the different things that we do. And they actually get a pretty good overview of what the Rotary is about. Most people that come to our organization are wanting to do something in the community.
Right.
And that's really important. It's not, I belong to a lot of networking things that are all about networking. And you are able to make connections in the Rotary. In fact, I laugh because I've been in a Rotary for 15 years, and when I became president, all of a sudden I was really knowledgeable. And a couple of the gentlemen that were wanting to do business with me before all of a sudden start doing business. So that is one thing about the Rotary. When people see how you work in the community, then they trust you because you are what you are, and that's how you run your business. And so if you do a really good job with things in the Rotary, then people are going to call you and need you to do, you could be my financial advisor, or I can be your printer. Nobody's allowed to do printing in our Rotary except for me. But
I was going to say, don't think so.
They know that. But it's a great group, and I really enjoy doing that. And my husband belongs to the one downtown Cincinnati.
The big one.
The big one.
Yeah.
They're number 17.
In the United States?
In the United States.
That's huge. That's big.
Right.
I think I like something a little smaller.
Well, and that's how our group is.
Yes.
But it's the young people nowadays, they want to do something, but they don't know where to go. And so we're trying to get those people into the Rotary now so that they can see this is what we do, because they have no clue. So that's my job, to just get out there, and it is networking. It's letting people know what your organization does, and
of course, behind that community involvement, there is a level of trust.
Correct.
And belief in your integrity.
Correct. Integrity is very important.
Oh,
very important.
Maxine, integrity is everything.
Well, and how many times have you gone to buy something or go to do something and somebody promises you something and it never happens? The one thing that I can say, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I think that's how I've kept most of our customers. Now, if we have an issue, we have a problem, I'll call you and let you know that there's a problem. But you need to let people know, even if there's a mistake, even if there's a time frame that we're not meeting, it's still, it's important to have that contact with your clients.
And that personal interface.
Correct.
That is so important.
Correct.
I have a question, and that has to deal with just as you are moving forward, because this is 23 years, and you are officially a young senior.
Yes.
So
yes.
So am I.
That's all right.
We're those baby boomers.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself going?
Well, when you do something that you love, you don't go much past that. But my goal really is to be able to have more time, if I retire, to do more stuff in the community. Because there's a lot of things that I would really like to do that I just don't have enough time.
Well, give me an example. Because I know you did this Northeast Community Challenge.
Yeah.
And when you were involved with that as the president, and that dealt with troubled teens.
Well, what that was is kids that were on drugs and smoking and bullying.
Gracious.
We did that about bullying long before it was the thing to talk about.
Really?
Yeah, and it's what we were trying to do is train kids in the high schools to know what's going on so they could tell their peers. Because I can say stuff till I'm blue in the face, but if one of their friends says something, that has more effect. So that's really kind of what we've been trying to do. It's a great organization, and we have 4 school districts that we're actually involved in. And they're all over the U.S. Actually, our coalition is the oldest one in the United States.
Really, for troubled teens and drugs and stuff. That is a frightening thing. You shared some things with me years ago when you were involved as the president of this organization that was very, very troubling, because I had no idea our young people were having those experiences.
Right. Well, one of the big experiences that I learned from being that, and thank God my kids are all older, so
oh my God, and mine too.
You don't have to worry about it.
God.
But the big thing was how many young people get jobs to make money. And we all think that's wonderful when our kids go get a job.
Yeah.
But in some of these locations, like restaurants, the older people are selling them drugs.
That I could not
Yes.
believe.
Yes. So
you send your child to a job and someone is selling him drugs.
And so that was a real problem for a while, and that the places that was going on has basically been stopped. But there was like a whole group that did that, and it's really scary. I mean, things that you would never think of. You think you're doing all the right stuff. And then parents that think they're doing the right thing by having a party at their house, taking all their kids as friends, and taking their car keys. Well, first of all, it's against the law to serve anybody but your own children alcohol.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have, say, a son, he has a party, and he has all of his friends over, and you take all their friends' keys, your friends' keys,
and serve them
you're
alcohol.
still breaking the law.
Huh.
Okay. So you can't do that.
I wonder if parents, now if a parent does that, what's the penalty?
Well, unless somebody tells on them, the penalty is they're going to go to jail, because the issue is when they leave, if they're in an accident,
because of
you're
what you
held
did
responsible.
as the adult.
Correct. As adults, you should know better.
You would think so.
You would think so.
But a lot of times.
In years past, it was okay, but you can't do that now anymore. It's too serious, and you're not setting a good example for your children.
I would not, well, I should say this. I can't quite understand the motive of a parent to do that.
Well, they think they're doing the right thing. They think because they're
taking
all
the
coming to
keys
their
away
house,
and they're all in a
and
controlled environment.
they're
Okay.
right there. But that's not the right thing. First of all, you're not teaching the right thing, and second of all, you're going to be in trouble. And if anything happens, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen parties where police have shown up. The neighbors next door have said, "Oh my gosh, all the noise, all what's going on," and you have all these underage drinkers, all these kids. The law is 21.
21.
Yes. So
in Ohio. Wow.
Yeah.
That's something for those of you that are watching. This is something to be aware of, because we're heading into holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and kids and parties, and that's a no-no. That's a no-no. So how does a parent, from your experience, how does a parent set a proper example with teenagers? Teenagers are off the chart.
Oh, they are. They have to stay on top of it. And I mean, if they think they're getting by with something, they will. You just got to know where they're at, where they're going, and who's, is your child going to somebody else's house and there's no parents there? I mean, it's your obligation to find out, is there going to be an adult there? Or are these all going to be kids?
Yes, right.
And provide something that's a little more healthy than drinking. I know our society goes in that direction, but it's just kind of sad that people think they have to drink to have a good time.
That is
And that's a real problem in the colleges. They see that once the kids get away from home, and they start having all these keg parties and stuff. That's a real issue.
So that is some of the information that you were able to provide as president of that organization.
Correct.
I'm just looking at a I don't know how you have enough time. I really don't. Running a successful company, and then you got 2 grandchildren.
Yes,
that I love.
Right. They've moved back, and so they come and stay with me on a lot of weekends. So we have a really good time with them.
Keeps you balanced?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
That is so good.
And that's what life's all about, right?
It really is.
Having your children around and your family.
I agree.
That's important.
I absolutely
And
agree.
again, give them back, because when I have my grandkids, we go do things in the community.
Okay.
So they need to learn that it's not all about them, that they need to do stuff for other people. And that's something you can't tell anybody. They have to learn that.
Goodness, so you take them to your different
things
events.
that I go to, yeah.
Yes. And
And
what
they
are
work
their
with me.
questions? They work with you as well.
Well, they go, do I have to? And then when they go, they have a great time.
Yes.
So now they don't even ask me anymore.
They just go.
One's 12 and one's 9. So
Okay.
I just drag them around everywhere I go. They always go,
That
Grandma,
is-
where are we going now?
That is so wonderful. That is so absolutely
You have to start that young.
You do
really
have
do.
to start it young.
Correct.
I believe it. It's funny because my son had to do SPCA, cleanup time. That was required. He had to
Right.
clean up animal dung. And again, it changed. He didn't even think about it. It was just, that's the way it's going to be.
Right.
You got to do it because you got to do it. And he just finally they just did it because they didn't know anything differently.
Well, I think if you can give your children any gift at all, it's to teach them that the world does not revolve around them.
Oh my
and
goodness
we're
gracious.
here to help others. I mean, that's really what it's all about.
That is so amazing. That is really so. So let's talk about shifting as a woman. And you've kind of glossed over it, but I have to ask if you could give any advice to women who are now trying to step into this world of business and are trying to find their way. And do you have any?
Well, first of all, if you can find somebody that's a mentor, that's great. That really is great. But you've got to understand from the get-go that we are not entitled to get what we want. And that's a problem with some of the younger people. You have to work for what you're going to get. And as a woman, the facts are you have to work harder.
Yeah, that's not going to change.
And you have to be
not
smarter.
anytime soon.
And you know you're going to have blocks up in front of you saying you can't do this, but you can. And women are smart. We just took us a little longer to figure that out.
Yeah.
And the big thing is learning how to do business. It's not being a housewife at home and making friends with people. Business is totally different.
Well, business is business.
Business is business, and it's got to be run accordingly.
Right. That is
so
a
that's
big
really
issue.
what to do.
That is really so. If a young woman has a specific talent or skill and wants to, quote, start her own company, what would you recommend?
Well, there's all kinds of organizations that help people starting business, but you really have to do your homework. We see it all the time where people start a business.
Yes.
And they have a great idea, but they haven't done any of the homework. They don't know how much money they got to have. They don't know who their market is. You can have the best product in the world. If nobody knows about it, it's not going to be successful. So you really have to do a lot of that beforehand to be able to be successful. Most businesses don't make it to 7 years. So you've got to know that.
Five is cut is.
So
you haven't made it.
And the one thing about the franchise industry, they do train you because their success is your success.
Right.
And so if you follow what they tell you, it works.
Okay.
I highly recommend people to look at that. Franchises right now are mainly bought by people from the ages of 45 to 55 because they're leaving corporate America and they're wanting to go off on their own. But for young people, we do a thing with the Rotary where we bring kids in that are in high school and we teach them what they need to do to be successful. And
in business?
In business, yes.
My goodness, what is that about?
Well, we have them for 3 days.
Okay.
And we let them speak to all kinds of different people about different organizations, different jobs. One evening we have different types of industry sitting around at tables and the kids can go around and see what it's like to be an insurance agent or a financial advisor or a printer. I usually get a pretty good crowd because even though I'm a printer, they always tell everybody I'm about sales. And that's, I don't care what you do. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care if you're a computer person. If you don't know how to sell yourself, you're not going to be successful.
You know, that is so amazing. I'm just going to say this because with all of this social media and Facebook and Twitter, et cetera, and LinkedIn, all fine. I tell folks, do whatever, but bottom line, if you are going to be out here driving in the lane called business.
Correct.
And that's a choice.
That is a choice.
You can always work for someone. It's probably easier.
Well, not necessarily.
That's true.
What the real thing is you need to learn confidence in yourself, what your strong suits are, and then learn what you need to do if you want to get in a certain industry. But you need to know manners. You need to know how to present yourself with some confidence. I mean, I can tell you there's been many times when I've been somewhere and I got to sell something. I don't know what I'm doing, but nobody knows any different. I mean, it's all there. One of the things that we do with the Rotary is we have a day where I tell the kids what they need to do. You cannot get a job texting. You know, you have to be able to look at somebody in the face and talk to them. A lot of these young people don't even know how to carry on a conversation. You know, you ask them a question, yes, no. That's not helping you get a job. So it's just
So
a
you
whole
tell
lot of
them
things.
this.
Yes. And what I do is I make them all have a business card they carry around. Of course, that helps me out, right?
But that's
What I tell them is put their name on it and put their phone number on it. And when they're interested in talking to somebody about a job,
they give them the
that.
business card, a nicely. Maxine, that is excellent, excellent advice.
And I also tell them at college, when you're going away to college, if you want to meet somebody and can't remember, you want them to remember you, you give them one of your cards. It's not bad to give them a card that reminds them to call home. Put the home phone number on there and notify your parents every once in a while that you are alive and kicking. So,
and they have a greater role in life than paying your tuition bills.
Correct.
That's why. So the young people today challenged to get jobs because things are incredibly competitive, incredibly intense, because you've got our generation, the baby boomers, and we're not retiring.
No, we still got to keep working.
We still got to keep working because we got people to take care of and we got bills to pay. So you've got us, and we're not leaving, and then you've got all of these young people that are coming out of college and want to do better in their lives, and so you're bumping against one another in so many cases.
Well, the thing that you got to remember is, if you're competing for something, and everybody is equal in what their quality is, it's what you do in the community that'll get you that job.
What you do in the community. That segues so powerfully with another woman that I had on that talked about just that with young people, how you're going to move this into another arena. And they need to network. They need to know how
They need to let them see that they're well-rounded.
Okay.
You might be really smart, but can you do stuff for anybody else? Again, the world is not about you. The world is about a lot of other people too. Yeah. And you need to be able to get along with people when you're in a job. I mean, it just carries on through. And that's really, really important.
I feel you so much. What I'd like to do is I'd like you to put this right in front of you. And I want them, no, because a lot of people are going to see this. And they need to know that you are an amazing alpha female who gets the job done with a smile. And I want to close out, if you all could get a camera shot of Miss Maxine Richardson, who is CEO and President of Kwik-Kopy Printing in Cincinnati, Ohio, named by the Sharonville Chamber of Commerce as the Small Business of the Year. And that award was received in 2012 based upon an evaluation of her work in 2011. But I'm here to tell all of you that are watching and listening and have listened that this is an extraordinary woman, and I don't say this lightly. She is, in my opinion, one of the great leaders that the community of Cincinnati has benefited from. Her time, her wisdom, her resources, her connections. And you just keep an eye on Maxine Richardson, because I believe the best is yet to come in the years ahead, because folks, she's not going anywhere. Don't you believe that? She's not going to retire. If she's going to retire, I'm going to retire, and that's not going to happen. So on that note, I close out today's segment of The Power of Money, where my guest was Maxine Richardson, CEO of Kwik-Kopy Printing in Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I wish you an awesome day, awesome week. God bless you. And see you next time. You take care.